It's time to live your stronger life. Hey, I'm Sammy, physio coach and nutritionist, and your hype girl for creating your stronger life. Here, we ditch the quick fixes and build real strength inside and out. So whether you're here to tone up, drop the body fat, build muscle, mental resilience, or ditch the diet culture, or just feel bloody good in your skin, you're in the right place. So let's get into it. What if I told you the one thing that your body needs right now, okay, maybe not the one thing, but the most important thing your body needs right now isn't less food? What if the answers to your plateau, your low energy, your stalled progress was actually to eat more? I know, that probably sounds backwards, especially when your goal is fat loss and you've been in dieting mode for a really long time and you've been taught that eating less is always better when it comes to fat loss. But I want to tell you something that I went through personally that's completely shifted how I think about this and what I do with a lot of my clients, and they also feel this way now too. So after every single one of my bodybuilding competitions, I've been in a deep deficit for months and months and months, running on low calories, low body fat, unhealthy levels of body fat, running my metabolism into the ground basically. I had to figure out how to come out of that phase without gaining everything back in a flash. Like my last prep, for example, I had to lose nearly 20 kilos during that prep. And I didn't want to put on those 20 kilos in a blink of an eye. Yes, post-prep, I needed to put on some weight because in a bodybuilding show, you do get to a point where you are at an unhealthy level of body fat. So there is an element of weight gain that actually needs to happen and is very important, but definitely not 20 kilos worth. That is absolutely too much. And especially someone who wants to continue and competing in bodybuilding, doing 20 kilos every single prep is just, that's incredibly unhealthy. But I had to gain a little bit, but not everything back. And I also needed to bring my calories up from the really gross low levels that you have to get to in bodybuilding competitions as well. So the strategy that I use to get me from very low calorie intake all the way up to now 2,700 calories a day and maintaining my weight, and I'm staying pretty lean while I'm doing it. And not only that, I feel better, I look better, I have more energy. And my body is now just changing in the best way possible by getting stronger, building more muscle, and I'm just looking better and better and better all the time and feeling so good in my body. And that strategy is called reverse dieting. And today we're talking about exactly what it is, how it works, and so many women I work with get some of the best results by eating more and not less. So let's start with what exactly is reverse dieting, because there's actually a few different kind of ways that people will describe it, and it gets misinterpreted a little bit, and it can also be performed in different ways. Like if you do it according to the literature and the way that has like the best evidence base, it's about coming up to the lowest part or coming up to your theoretical new maintenance calories, because once you lose a certain amount of weight, your maintenance calories adjust, because when you weigh less, you simply need less to function day to day. So it's about coming up to your new theoretical maintenance, which may not be that high, it may not be very high and enjoyable to live on, and then reversing the calories up a little bit and seeing how high you can get it from there. And that's like pretty much exactly what we've kind of experienced with mine. For example, like my theoretical maintenance could be anywhere from, it could be as low as 2,400 up to 2,500 would be like my theoretical maintenance calories, but I'm actually like doing pretty bloody well sitting. I can maintain up at 26, 27. Is 27's pushing it into building phase for me, but you get the idea that I could be maintaining at 23, but I'm also maintaining at 25, 26. So reverse dieting is coming up to your theoretical maintenance and then pushing it beyond just to see how high we can get it and really start to teach your body to adapt to higher calories, push to support muscle growth and improve your metabolism and your appetite and things like that. So that is the more like literature, evidence-based version of reverse dieting. And then that one has like really amazing benefits. And then there's another kind of style of reverse dieting where you start from your diet and you just slowly creep your way back up from the dieting. You don't jump straight up to maintenance. You creep your way back up throughout that. So you're not actually straight away at your maintenance calories. It takes you a little bit of time to get there. And that is another really useful strategy. They all have different purposes. That one's really nice, I find, for ladies who have been chronically dieting for a really long period of time, and the thought of jumping up to their maintenance just absolutely scares them shitless. So it's a really nice kind of way to ease into it and just like gradually build the calories back up over time. And during that time, they're still in a bit of fat loss. So they're going to start dropping body fat still. They're still going to be looking better and better and better as we go, but you're eating more food and more food. And so you gradually build yourself back up. That can be really nice, especially like if you have a bit of a sensitive tummy. So it's not putting a lot of stress on your digestive system straight away. So they both have their place, both different types of reverse dieting. It just really depends on the person and what's going to be the most suitable for you, with a lot of context in mind. It's not just about what you want to do, it's about what your body needs right now as well. And so why do either of these kind of work? So after a period of dieting, whether that's a structured fat loss phase, comp prep, or just months of under eating and just years of chronic dieting, your body becomes adapted to running on less food. Your body is amazing and it will adapt to anything that you put it on. And so if you chronically undereat, your body's going to adapt to chronically undereating. So your metabolism, the way you function day to day, your muscle, your energy, your activity, everything naturally down regulates, and your body becomes more efficient at surviving on fewer calories. So in practice, it means as well that your maintenance calories, like I mentioned, may be a little bit lower than when you started your dieting. And that's that metabolic adaptation, not just from weight loss, but also just from the down regulation. So what reverse dieting can then do, either method that I've mentioned before, it can slowly bring those calories back up. You do it in small increments and you give your metabolism time to adapt upward, rather than just slamming straight back into like really high calories and hoping for the best. It can kind of help to just gradually adapt over time. It's kind of like a spring that's been pushed down, and reverse dieting is like the process of releasing that spring slowly and in a controlled way, rather than just letting it snap back all at once. So small calorie increases consistently with some patience and strategy, it can do absolute wonders. So what happens to your body when you have been dieting for too long? Why is it necessary to bring the calories up in the first place? Because a lot of women don't realize what's happening to their body during a really long, overly extended dieting phase. So when you're in a calorie deficit for an extended period of time, I'm talking months and years, not just a couple of weeks, but like a very long time, your body starts making adjustments to protect itself. It down regulates your metabolism, it reduces the energy that you burn at rest, it reduces your non-exercise activity, such as, the movements you make throughout the day, fidgeting, standing up, moving around, taking the stairs, walking to get something. You get a little bit lazier. If you're like, oh, I'm just so lazy to do things, you're probably just not eating enough, and so you have no energy. That's probably the actual reason. And so when you've been dieting for a really long period of time and your body's running really low on fuel, it subconsciously starts to conserve energy. You'll sit more, you'll move less without even realizing it. Your body is trying to protect itself. And I notice this in myself after long comp prep phases. You get more exhausted, you get more flat, your house gets a bit messy because you just don't want to do the cleaning up because it takes too much effort. And having a shower is just like, oh my God, washing my hair is so much energy and time. Not just physically, but mentally too. Your energy just drains away from you. And this is where a lot of women get stuck. They've been dieting for so long that their body's adapted to a very low intake. Progress has stalled. They feel terrible, but they're scared to eat more because they think that it will cause the fat gain. So they stay stuck, digging deeper into restriction, getting less and less in return for it. And so reverse dieting is one way that I think is strongly believe it is one way out of a cycle of this. So how does reverse dieting actually work? Okay, so you start from where you are. Well, like I mentioned, there's two different methods. One where you jump straight up to your new theoretical maintenance. And so why would you do that? Why would you jump straight up to theoretical maintenance versus the other method? So if you have been chronically dieting for a really long period of time, your food noise is really high. You are starving, you're hungry, you can't stay consistent on your calorie deficit. You have no energy, your sleep is just gone. Like all of the signs, your body and your mind is just screaming at you. Just go straight up to your maintenance calories. Don't muck around with doing a reverse up. Just go up to your theoretical new maintenance calories and reverse from there. That is going to be much more advantageous for you in the long run than trying to extend your dieting phase any longer. And then you're just going to keep risking rebounding, overeating, binging, and destroying your mental and hormonal health for longer and longer. So in that case, it is better just to jump up, get back to normal, and your body will adapt. And so you may see an initial spike in the scale and you'll freak out, but it's like, dude, it's fine. Just stay consistent at your maintenance calories, because that's the point of maintenance, is maintenance, and your body will adapt and level out. You just got to kind of deal with that first little spike. But if you're not at that extreme, you don't have huge diet fatigue, you don't have all the food noise, you're not starving hungry all the time, your energy hasn't completely tanked, you can kind of tolerate it, it's all right. What you can do is start from where you are And then you just add a small amount of calories each week. So, it could be 50 to 100 calories at a time, and it's just small, slow, consistent. And so the idea is that your metabolism has time to adapt to each small increase before the next one, and so you're gradually building it up. And that can also be really beneficial on your digestive. I have a very sensitive digestive system, so for me, I much prefer a slower. We didn't go that slow, to be fair. Like, we did pretty big jumps because my calories were like quite low. We did do pretty big jumps, but we built it up over a couple of weeks, small increases. And we did it slowly because my digestive system is a bit how you doing sometimes. So we did it that way to not overwhelm it too much, but it went absolutely beautifully. And now I've been sitting at 2,700 calories for like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9 months now. I've totally lost track of what day of the week it is anymore. But I've been on that for ages, right? And as my calories went up, my body composition has really like stayed the same, and it is improving. Like I'm not gaining any body fat. I'm staying where I am, but I'm improving my muscle mass, my training performance. Everything's just improving over time. And like, yes, when you're in a small surplus, like we're pushing to be in a small surplus now because I actually am purposefully really pushing for muscle growth right now, that I will accumulate tiny little bits of body fat over time. And then what you do is, like, for me personally, that's fine. If I didn't want that to happen and I wanted to just absolutely maintain, all I need to do is drop my calories to like 2,600 or 2,500. Like, it's only a 200 calorie shift, like not a big amount. I barely will notice that in a day, and I'll just maintain where I'm at. But right now I'm purposely pushing to build just to know that absolute difference. And I'm not doing hours of cardio or anything crazy to stay lean. I do like 2 30-minute sessions or like 4 15-minute sessions. I literally do like 1 hour of cardio a week, which is just really good for your heart health. I don't do it for like any other crazy reason. I don't need to add extra stress to my body. So ladies, you don't have to also do hours and hours and hours of cardio in order to eat more. Like you can just adapt to your body over time if you treat it well and if you stay consistent. That is the most important thing, the absolute consistency. Because a lot of women will think, oh, but I'm at my maintenance calories and I put on weight. Well, like, dude, you're not in maintenance calories, but it's not necessarily the number that you're tracking that's holding you back. It's the fact that you are like, yeah, I eat my maintenance calories at 2,000 calories. And you do it like 5 days, and then on the weekend you have like 5,000 calories, and then it's like, yeah, you're not at your maintenance calories. So if you actually like stay consistent to what your true maintenance calories are, you can build them up. Like, you can't obviously build them up to the moon, there is a limit, but you can kind of play around with that window, and your body will adapt over time if you actually do it correctly and consistently. And so as you're going through this journey, your calories are increasing, your energy's coming back, your body naturally starts moving more, your brain feels better, you can think clearer, you sleep better, you're fidgeting more, you move around more, the house is cleaner, you're more motivated to do things day to day because you just have more energy. You'll start taking the stairs again without thinking about it. You start walking further. You move more freely through your day. Your body has fuel again and it wants to use it. So your total daily energy expenditure actually goes up alongside your food intake, which means your metabolism, your energy that you just need day to day to function, is genuinely improving. And that is the adaptation working in our favor and what we want to see. So I have mentioned some jump straight to maintenance, some don't jump straight to maintenance. And so why would you choose one or the other? If the goal is to eat more, like, why not just jump straight to maintenance? And in some cases, like I mentioned earlier in this episode, absolutely you should jump straight up to your maintenance. It's very important that you do that. Do not muck around because your body is screaming for you. But why is it beneficial to be gradual in other things? And so those two reasons being physical and a mental reason. So physically, jumping straight to the calorie deficit to the maintenance can just be a shock on the digestive system, bloating, discomfort, water retention initially as you add more carbohydrates in. So sometimes it can just be nice to let your gut adapt and process over time. So going slowly gives your digestive system that time to adapt alongside everything. It's just a bit gentler on the body. It's not essential. Some people have iron guts and they're like totally fine, and some people do just need that gentler approach, which is absolutely fine. And then there's the mental one, which honestly that's the biggest part for a lot of women, is jumping straight to a significantly higher calorie intake can feel really confronting. And so after months of eating less, eating more feels scary. And even if logically it's the right thing to do, emotionally can still trigger a lot of anxiety around food and a fear of weight gain. And one thing is, like, it is normal to see the scale go up, like as you do go through a little bit of this reverse dieting process, because as you're adding more carbohydrates into your body, you're filling your glycogen stores up, the stores of carbs, the stores of energy in your muscles. It's also going to hold more water. So it is inevitable to see a small change in the scale, like 1 or 2 kilos is like totally normal. And it's actually important because it helps us to see that, okay, we are actually filling the body out with the carbohydrates, like in a good way, supporting the muscles and filling them back up with carbs and water so they're nice and bubbly and strong and energized and ready to rock and roll. It's like recharging your battery kind of. So there is a small element like 1 or 2 kilos that is totally normal, but a lot of women will still fear the scale changing. So sometimes just a smaller gradual increase can make it feel a little bit more manageable and not as scary, no dramatic changes all at once. And because the increases are so small and the body's adapting, most women find they feel a bit more comfortable during the process. And mentally, it's just like reassuring to make the whole process feel so much more sustainable. Women often tell me that the reverse diet is where they start to feel like really amazing again. They feel like really in control of their food and they can eat more and still enjoy life, but still feel they're staying on track. And it's just really magic, even though the research evidence is not fabulous for reverse dieting, to be honest. Like a lot of it's just like, nah, just go straight to maintenance if you go off the research. And obviously I'm very evidence-based in what I do, but I do know personally that a reverse diet is just so much more enjoyable. So for most women, it actually is as well. And it's one of those cases where I'm actually like, kind of go against the evidence on that one because I just know with women, because a lot of research is not done on women, and so women are a little bit different. And I do find that after doing this for as many bloody years, I've lost track now of how many years I've been doing this for. I've been in the fitness industry for over a decade now. Women just prefer a reverse diet over jumping straight to the maintenance calories. Not all, but most of them. And so this is the best part, because it's a part that genuinely surprises most women. When you come out of a long deficit and you start this reverse dieting properly, patiently, with good training, adequate protein, and enjoying life at the same time, a lot of women experience amazing body recomposition changes. They start eating more and they actually get leaner, and they start holding the same body fat, but they're building muscle. So their shape changes, their definition improves. They look better than they did than when they were dieting harder and harder and harder. And it's because for a long time, you've been in such a deep deficit for so long that the body didn't have the resources to build or maintain muscle effectively. You're basically just surviving. And so when food comes back up, when protein's adequate, when energy is available, the body finally has what it needs to start building, and building muscle while holding body fat stable is body recomposition. Or even, dropping a little bit of body fat at the same time, which there is actual evidence that it can happen at maintenance. You can build muscle and drop body fat in a maintenance zone. It is possible. There is some research to support that. So it's the thing everyone wants, and it often happens when women stop dieting harder and they start feeling better. But the key here is you have to be patient. You have to be consistent. You're not going to see sudden changes overnight. It takes longer, but the results are like 1,000 times better. So it's much more worth it to be patient than expect to see the changes that you see like in a flash, or, when you're in a fat loss phase and you see the scale just flying down. You need to get away from that mindset, because recomp and this reverse dieting process, it's slower, but it's so much more effective, and you just feel so much better for it in the end. Honestly, most women who are convinced they need to eat less to get leaner find out that eating more is actually the answer. Not more junk, not more of everything randomly, but just more food in a structured and progressive and intentional way. And that honestly changes everything. So I want you to sit with this idea for a moment. If you've been dieting for months, maybe longer, and you're exhausted, you're flat, you're not seeing progress, and you're dreading your next meal because there's just not much in it, your body is not broken. It has not stopped it from, fat loss just doesn't not work for you or anything like that. It's just that you have adapted to what you are doing. And the answer is not to push through with less food and more activity. It is to work with your body instead of against it. And reverse dieting is one of those amazing strategies. It's not like coming out of a calorie deficit is suddenly giving up on your goals. It's just like doing something different, a redirection. It's still on the journey. You're still on the path to get there. We're just doing different strategies. It's like, getting to your destination. Say if you wanted to go overseas, you're not going to drive a car all the way there. That's just not practical, but you may drive the car to the airport, and then you get in an airplane, and then you fly to that destination, and then maybe you have to get on a boat to get to another destination. So it's all about, you're still on your journey to get to your destination, but you're just using different modalities to get there. And that's what reverse dieting it is. That's what maintenance breaks are. They're just different modalities that are still working towards your goals. So reverse dieting is a strategy. It is a very smart one, and one that respects what your body's been through and gives it the chance to come back stronger. Eating more, sometimes, often actually eating more is exactly what your body has been waiting for. And when you do it right, the results are just absolutely bloody fantastic. Thanks so much for listening. If you found this episode valuable, please rate, review, and subscribe. And I'd love if you shared this on your Instagram and tag me, Sammy_livestrong. And if you'd like to learn more about my coaching and join the Project Livestrong family, please message me, Livestrong, on Instagram, and I'll see how I can help. I'll see you next time.